Hi everyone. So today I'm going to talk about a biology topic that is nutrition. And before I begin the topic, I would like to ask you guys, what did you have for breakfast? You might have had idli, dosa, uttapa, paratha, bread omelette or some cereals. So can you guys tell me why did you have breakfast? Now don't give me an answer that your mother has forced you to have some breakfast or your parents have forced you to have some breakfast, so that's the reason you ate something. Why do you really need to eat breakfast? Or like lunch or dinner or anything? Why do you really need to eat something? Let me tell you something. You need to really eat some fruits or like breakfast or any kind of food in order to carry out any activity. Like if you want to listen to this class properly, you need something called energy, right? That is the thing that you get from the food that you eat. So you need energy to watch this show, you need energy to think, you need energy to play. You basically need food for anything and everything. So that's how much important food is. So you might ask me a question like, what happens if I skip my breakfast, or what happens if I skip my food for the entire day? Nothing will happen for 1 day or 2 days, but like on a longer term, if you don't eat, eventually you'll die. Like you really need food in order to eat, in order for your heart to work well, in order for anything to function properly. Like if you want to play sports, you can't skip your breakfast or like pre-workout meal or something and go and run, because you'll eventually feel tired. So that's how important food is. So now, what is meant by nutrition? So nutrition is the consumption of the whole food by itself, like the food which is needed for our body. Now, what do you guys notice? I can notice that the lady is sad. You know, she's maybe, this is not her favorite food, that is the reason she's sad. And the guy is very happy munching on noodles. You guys also might be the same. Like if you see bitter gourd or karela, you might feel like, I really don't want that. But if your mom gives you pizza or cake or chocolate, you will feel like munching on it. But even karela is good for health. It has a lot of good stuff in it. You need to eat both in balanced way in order to have a good functional body. So what do I mean by this is, these all are different kinds of food which you need to eat. And before I explain further, I want you guys to take a small quiz with me. So what do you guys see here? Take your time and see the screen. So I can see a carrot, I can see a Bugs Bunny, I can see a scary wolf, and I can see the Simba from the cub from the Lion King. So what's happening here is, because the carrot is there, that's the favorite food of Bunny, it's happily munching on it. And the wolf later would munch on the rabbit. And the cub will munch on the wolf. So what do I mean by this slide? What is the quiz question for you is, why do you think carrot is necessary? I will answer it later, but please think about it. So the thing is, there are few animals which only munch on plants, and if this carrot is not available, the bunny would not have food, and the wolf will not have food if the bunny is not there. And if wolf is not there, the lion would not have food. So now what do I mean by that is, big animals eat small animals and small animals eat plants. So this is a life cycle. Like even us, we eat plants, and we can also like eat eggs, chicken, fish and everything. So it is a cycle where bigger animals consume smaller animals and smaller animals consume more small animals and plants. So let me tell you a story here. There was a huge fire in the forest. So what happens when there is a fire in the entire forest? Now imagine like the whole forest in which all these things are there, it's burnt. So at that point of time, what happens is, if there is no plants, the whole forest is destroyed. So there is no plants, because of which there is no food for the bunny. The bunny is super sad here. And because there's no food for the bunny, the wolf is crying because there's no food for it. And even the Simba is sad because it has no food. So what do I mean by the story? What is the point I'm trying to explain here is, if there is no plants, there is no food. It cannot happen that, hey, I'll just keep eating on eggs and I don't need plants forever. It doesn't really work that way. If there is a plants, there is food for smaller animals, and then like there's food for everyone. So no plants, no food. Now, what do I mean by life process? Before I explain, I would like to ask you guys a question. So, can you hold your breath? You guys might say, yes, I can hold it for some time. Like you might say like, hey, I can, hold it and show you. You can only hold it for some time. You can't stop your breathing forever. You can't stop your heart beat. You can't stop the internal processes which is going on in your body. So these are the processes. There are few processes in our body which are absolutely necessary. They cannot stop. Like in order for us to live, these process has to take place, and these will only stop at death. So what do I mean by that is, for us to live, we need to carry out few processes regularly on daily basis. So we cannot stop. Like we can't say, hey, let me take a break. Let me stop breathing. Let me stop my heartbeat. It doesn't work. So that is why they are called as involuntary process. And more important than that, what do I mean by involuntary is which is not in my control. But these processes are the ones which are absolutely necessary for your daily activities. So these processes that occur daily in order to stay alive, they are called as life process. So on the screen, I can see that this lady is happily munching on a bowl of salad with some protein in it. And once she's having a good meal, she's able to run properly. So let me tell you something, you really need to have good meal. I don't mean by a meal means have lot of chocolates and say, hey, I had a good meal. Good meal means which has all the important essential substances needed for your regular activities. So there is a lot of greens, lot of vegetables, lot of good food, and once you have good amount of food, you can run well. So digestion, respiration, that is breathing, circulation, or all these processes which occur daily are called as life process. I hope you guys have understood what a life process. Now coming to nutrition. So what is the definition of nutrition? It is the mode through which organisms take in food and utilize it to gain energy. Like in this slide, if you guys can see, she's taking in food and using it to run. That's nothing but nutrition. So let me tell you in a simple way. So she is eating lot of apples and veggies, imagine, okay? And you take in food, like I'm eating food and using it to gain energy. This process is called as nutrition. So taking in food and using it to gain energy is called as nutrition. Now coming to modes of nutrition. So what do you guys see on the screen? I can see a woman preparing her field to grow crops, and I can see a scary lion that's munching on something. So I want you guys to think, how do you think plants take the nutrition? Like how I told you we eat apple, do you think plant does something? Like can it cook something, meal prep and cook in the kitchen? I don't think so. Plants have a unique feature. Plants, they can make their own food. They can make their own food. They are self-sufficient. So, as the plants can make their own food, they are called as autotrophs. Now, can you guys tell me what is meant by autotrophs? Auto means self and trophos means nutrition. So, self, nutrition. So, the plants have the capacity to make their own food in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, and that's the reason they are called as autotrophs. Now coming to heterotrophs. This lion can't make its own food. It has to munch on smaller animals like wolf, deer or anything. So that's the reason it is called as heterotrophs. What is meant by hetero means different, and trophos means nutrition. So the nutrition in plants, the mode is autotrophs, whereas the mode of nutrition in humans and animals is heterotrophs. Like even we depend on others. Like, you might say, no, we prepare our own food. No, we get the list of things from grocery store or like farm, and then make our own food, but the basic thing is coming from outside, and plants don't need that. They can prepare their own food. They are self-sufficient, so they are called as autotrophs and we are called as heterotrophs. Now coming to what is meant by digestive system. So when we munch on an apple, the apple just doesn't go inside our body like an apple by itself. Okay, so I told you that nutrition is like the breaking down of the apple into energy. So digestive system helps in it. So what does the digestive system do is, so this is the apple. This apple needs to be broken down into simple substances, okay, in order to give us energy, and so that it can be absorbed by our body. So digestion is nothing but breaking down of complex substances into simple substances is called as digestion, okay, and the system that helps is called digestive system. So let me repeat it again. So digestion is the breakdown of bigger complex molecule into simpler molecules so that it is absorbed into all of our body so that we can carry out our activities. So now coming to parts of digestive system. So you guys don't have to draw exactly like what you see on the screen. You can draw your own diagrams also. So I will draw a simple version for you. So the simple parts of digestive system is mouth. You eat like this, right? So of course this is the mouth. So mouth, and this tube is called as esophagus. And from the esophagus you see a J-shaped sac-like organ that is called as stomach. And from the stomach you can see small intestine, this is the small intestine, and which goes into large intestine. So you take in food through mouth, it goes through the tube, that's esophagus, it enters a sac, that's stomach, and then the tube-like structure is small intestine, and then there is a large intestine, and finally the solid waste is removed through the large intestine from the anus. So these are the parts of digestive system. So the basic parts of digestive system are, can you please repeat with me? So it's mouth, it's esophagus, it's stomach, it's small intestine and large intestine. So 5 major parts of digestive system. There's something called associated glands. I'll just give you an introduction now and explain in detail later. So what do associated glands do is, they don't take part in the digestion, but they help in the digestion. Like, how can I explain you guys? So when you prepare for your exams, your parents help you a lot, like emotionally, as well as keep giving you a lot of good stuff to eat, good stuff to read. So they're helping you in the process. Without them, like, we can't complete anything. So if something is helping us for a process to complete, that is called as associated. Okay, so associated glands help in the digestion, but they don't take part in the digestion. So these associated glands, they release juices. So they are not like watermelon juices or like Mosambi juices. They are juices which help in digestion. They are called digestive juices. Now, so can you guys tell me, what do you observe here? I can see a plant with some sunlight falling on it and green leaves and some water. So like I have explained, how does digestion occur in plants? What do I mean by it? Like, how does this plant over here gets its food? So how does this plant gets its food is, in the presence of sunlight, and whenever we have a plant at the home, we are told to water the plant. Okay, so when you water the plant in the presence of sunlight and a green color pigment which occurs in the leaf, this green color pigment is called as chlorophyll. Okay, three important parts in this process which I am explaining is sunlight and chlorophyll and water and soil. Okay, you're watering in the soil. So in presence of sunlight, chlorophyll and water, this plant can prepare its own food, and this process is nothing but photosynthesis. Okay, so what is photosynthesis? It is a process in which a plant can prepare its own food in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll and water. Now, so what is the modes of nutrition? So there are two modes of nutrition. We have already spoken about that, but let me tell you what are producers and consumers. You guys already know by now. Producers are the ones which can produce the food, that is, they can make their food, and consumers which consume the food. Lion was a consumer and carrot by itself is a producer. So these all are producers: mushrooms, cabbage, lettuce and everything, carrots, onions, and the human over here, it's a consumer. So I hope you guys are clear. Now coming to heterotrophs. So I have explained you already that hetero means different, trophos means nutrition. So there are three types. Okay, one is holozoic, one is saprotrophs, and one is parasite. So holozoic is when we eat the food on its whole. Holo means whole. Like, what do I mean? So this orange is there. She's going to eat the orange completely. Okay, that is holozoic nutrition. What a saprotrophs is? Saprotrophs occur outside the food. Like, leave a banana for 10 days outside. Or like, you don't have to do this because it's going to decay and smell a lot. All I mean is, like, have you ever noticed, like, leaving food, your mom will say it gets bad. Like, you guys, sometimes if you forgot having some food and you leave it in the dabba, in your lunch box like that, when you come back home, it stinks. You know why? Because it's decayed. Now, what do I mean by that? Whenever there is a decay in the food, saprotrophs, like, they feed, like, suppose think this is an orange left for 10 days. then what happens is these heterotrophs eat the food and they excrete the products outside itself. So what you see here is an excretory product, that is a waste product of a saprotroph. That is the reason it smells so bad. And what are parasites? Like parasites, like if this is my hand and think there is some parasite. Like there are two kinds of parasite. One is it can be on my skin or inside my skin. Okay. So what does a parasite do is it needs a host. Now what do I mean by host? Like let me tell you, this is a parasite, this is me, a human, right? So this parasite is going to live on me and will take all the nutrition from me. Okay, and of course it's causing damage to me because I'm giving it something, my blood and everything. So examples are leeches, like that's a deadly leech. So it takes all the important stuff from us and makes us sick. So parasite can only occur in presence of, like, parasite don't kill the host, but they definitely harm the host. So what do I mean by that? Like parasites like leech, they're not going to kill us, we are not going to die, but eventually we'll fall sick till we get rid of it. So that is what parasite is. Now I have already explained you guys what is photosynthesis. So what did I tell you? In presence of sunlight, water and chlorophyll, the plant can prepare its own food and give so what is the food? Is nothing but glucose and oxygen. So the sunlight in presence of chlorophyll and water, what does it give? Glucose and oxygen. Now let me ask you guys some important question. So the question is oxygen important for photosynthesis? Please think about it. The answer is no. Oxygen is an end product, like the product which comes out after the reaction. What is important is carbon dioxide. Okay, so you guys might be wondering, so I'm saying like green color pigment chlorophyll. So there are plants which are red in color, there are plants which are yellow in color. So do you think chlorophyll is not there in them? And if it's not there, how do you think they are going to make their own food? Because chlorophyll is mandatory for photosynthesis. So the green color pigment is called chlorophyll, and the color is given by something called plastids in the plant. Like if it's a yellow plant, it has less amount of chlorophyll, but chlorophyll is there. Okay, so yes, we can even have red, yellow, whatever kind of plants you want. Now you guys know the important parts of digestive system. I have drawn 3 times, so I don't have to repeat myself again, but now I'll start with the process. Now what do you guys notice here? I can see a woman happily munching on a carrot. Okay, so now I want to ask you guys, if I give you an apple, do you think you can eat it without your teeth? No. Teeth are absolutely necessary because it helps in the mechanical breakdown of food. I don't want to use heavy terms. In simple words, is breaking down of food. So teeth is very important. So first important thing is what? Teeth. Now what is the function of the teeth? Mechanical breakdown, or like just breaking of food so that you can chew. Okay, so not just that, so you have teeth inside your mouth, and then these are salivary glands, which I will be talking about later. Now about the teeth, there are 2 kinds of teeth. Like you might be thinking babies have baby teeth and adults have adult teeth. It's not so. Baby's tooth are called as primary dentition, because primary means first, okay, and permanent dentition means the permanent teeth, that is the adult teeth. Okay, so if you guys can get a mirror and see what I'm trying to explain you, you'll understand it more better. So when I see myself like this in a mirror, So I can see like few kinds of different teeth. Like here, if you get a mirror, by the time I'm drawing, it would be great. You will first see a square like tooth, okay? So you'll see two of them. Then you'll see a little sharp teeth, okay, over here. Then you'll see little like two shaped things, and then you'll see three big tooths like right now. But you know, in some people there are teeth only till here, whereas in some people there are teeth till here. So I've just drawn like different shapes of the teeth. So please take a mirror and notice your teeth from this end to this end. Like you can notice there are two different teeth, one triangular teeth, two shaped tooth, that's we call two cuspal tooth, and then we have three big tooth. Okay, some people have three, some people have two, but usually it is 2, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, so usually we have something like this, right? Four parts. So we have 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now what do I mean by 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3? So 2 square teeth, 1 this teeth, 2 these teeth and 3 this teeth. So this is the dental formula for permanent teeth. So those two teeth, square like teeth, which I said are incisors. They are called incisors. And this one teeth that is like this is called as canine. And that two small things which I said are called as premolars, and this 3 is called as molars. So in adults there are 2 incisors, 1 canine, 2 premolars and 3 molars, whereas in kids it is 2102 by 2102. So what do I mean by that is they have incisors, they have canines, but they don't have premolars, and then they have just 2 molars. If you have any baby brother or baby sister, go and check their teeth, you know, you might find it interesting. Hey, I have few of which you don't have, you know, that's because I'm an adult. I'm getting there, I'm not yet an adult. So in the primary teeth, the formula is 2102 by 2102, and adults is 2123 by 2123. So these formulas are nothing but like the numbers, they are called as dental formula. It's very important. Let me repeat myself again. There are 2 incisors, 1 canines, 2 premolars and 3 molars in adults. Whereas in babies, not babies exactly, like when in small kids, it's 2102, okay? 2 incisors, 1 canine, 0 premolars and 2 molars. Now coming to salivary glands and esophagus. So now I have already spoken about teeth. Now after the teeth, so what is the next important part of digestive system is esophagus. So these salivary glands are associated glands. Like I told you, there are few glands. Remember, I told you liver, I told you gallbladder, pancreas, but I'll tell you later again. But just remember for now that salivary gland is also an associated gland. That is, it gives some juice. Now let me tell you an example. I see a chocolate cake. So even before, just imagine, close your eyes and imagine seeing a chocolate cake. So what happens when you imagine, you'll feel like there is some kind of saliva in your mouth, even if it doesn't exist in front of you right now. That's because your salivary gland is secreting saliva, okay? And this saliva releases juice, and it also releases something called as salivary amylase. Now, what is salivary amylase? So, whenever you come across something like ACE, this is nothing but an enzyme. Okay. So, what is an enzyme now? Enzyme is basically a protein, but it is something like which speeds up a reaction. It is a biochemical catalyst which speeds up a reaction. So, what did I explain till now? Salivary gland is also an associated gland, and it gives saliva, and it gives salivary amylase, and this salivary amylase is an enzyme. So, if you draw the mouth, salivary glands are here. There are 3 of them. One is near your cheek, one is near your, near your cheek is called as parotid gland. It is called as parotid gland, and near your jaw, it is called as submandibular. So, this is mandible, this is maxilla, okay? Upper jaw, lower jaw. Upper jaw is maxilla, lower jaw is mandible. Now, and this is sublingual. That is, lingual means near the tongue, okay? Sublingual gland. I have already, I think I have told you 3 different new terms. Before you get like, it's so hard, let me ask you an interesting question. Can you guys swallow your tongue? Tongue. Try to. You won't be able to. Like if this is our tongue, what is protecting the tongue from not swallowing is a tiny structure. Like try to flip your tongue upwards, you can see some attached structure that is called a frenulum. That helps so that your tongue doesn't get swallowed. Now, so I told you about different type of glands, 3 glands, parotid gland, submandibular gland and sublingual gland. Salivary glands, what does it give? Saliva. And what does saliva actually do is, for example, when you take an apple or something, this saliva converts it into basic sugars. So, the main thing is when we are eating any kind of food, the end product, like what we want is it should be divided into like smaller, simpler substances, okay. So, breakdown of carbohydrate is done by saliva. And what does the small intestine do? So, before coming to the small intestine, I spoke about what? A mouth, salivary glands, esophagus and stomach. So, before, I'm sorry about the title, but it includes also stomach and everything. So, let me just draw you here. So, I have told you about the teeth, I have told you about the 3 salivary glands. Now, what about the esophagus? So, the tube, here there are no glands. Esophagus is a glandless organ. So, why is it included in the digestion then? So, what happens is when you eat the food, saliva has already been secreted. So, what happens when the food is mixed with saliva is, so imagine this is a food. When it is mixed with the saliva, it converts into easy, like it's not no more hard, it's like soft ball. That is called as bolus. Now, what is the food called? It is called bolus when it is mixed with saliva. Now, it enters esophagus. So, this tube is esophagus. It's a long tube. Here, there is no process of digestion, but why is it included? So, what happens is this bolus, in order to pass down through to the stomach, this esophagus gives something like peristalsis movements, like wave like movements like this. When you do this, the food is being pushed, Okay, so actually esophagus is doing a lot of help, or else the food will be just stuck here. In order the food to reach here, the esophagus is swimming motions. Okay, so that is called peristalsis. So guys, can you tell me what is peristalsis? Peristalsis is contractions. Okay, now the food has reached stomach. Okay, so when it reaches the stomach, there are let me show you, see if I have stomach pictures. I'm sorry, I don't, but we can draw. So I hope till here you're clear. Stomach has three main things that are secreted inside. Stomach also has its own juice. So there is three major things here. Okay, one is HCl is secreted in the stomach, pepsin is secreted in the stomach, and mucin is secreted in the stomach. That's why usually people say, my stomach feels acidic. You know, it doesn't. So you might be thinking, oh, is it so much acid? No, the hydrochloric acid is not so super acidic, but yes, your stomach does have acid. So what happens is, there is HCl, hydrochloric acid, and pepsin. Now what is pepsin? So what happens is, there is something called as pepsinogen, which is in its inactive form. Usually this pepsin converts pepsinogen into peptones. So basically pepsin, so why do you really need to convert pepsinogen into peptones? Like, why can't you just leave it as pepsinogen? You can't do that because it helps in protein digestion only in the form of peptones. So what did we learn in the mouth? With the saliva, we are doing carbohydrate digestion. Now what are we learning here? Protein digestion. So here in the mouth, what did we learn? Because of this saliva, we learned that is carbohydrate digestion, and here there is protein digestion. Now, and mucin. Mucin is something like mucus, jelly like substance. So why do you really need mucin? We need mucin because our stomach is already acidic. So you need something basic. So what do I mean by that is, to neutralize an acid you need a base. For a base you need an acid. Both needs to be in equilibrium. So to maintain the pH of the stomach, to maintain the concentration, mucin helps. So if this is a stomach wall, you know, mucus cells are here. So they are lining throughout the stomach. They help protect the stomach wall. Okay. So that is the function of mucin. Now coming to associated glands. So basically this is stomach. Like, you know, I have drawn this picture for your easy remembrance. Definitely you can draw this in your exam. You don't have to draw something like this. This works very well. Okay. So the stomach has there is liver, gallbladder and pancreas, which secrete their juices below into duodenum and into the small intestine. But why do we need to learn about liver, gallbladder and pancreas? So what does the liver do? So I told you carbohydrate digestion occurs in saliva, protein digestion occurs in stomach. Liver helps in fat digestion. Okay. So what does the liver do? So the liver helps in fat breakdown. The process of breaking down of fat is called as emulsification. What is it called? it is called emulsification. Okay, the breakdown of big fat molecules into simple molecules is called as emulsification. Now coming to what is the kind of the juice that the liver secretes. The liver secretes a juice called as bile juice. Okay, and the function of this small gland, that is gallbladder, is it stores lot of bile. Okay, and this leaf like structure has pancreas, it has amylase, and it also helps in trypsin and lipase. So the function of the liver is fat breakdown. The function of the gallbladder is it stores bile to help the liver. The function of the leaf-like structure pancreas is it has juice, which is helps in amylase, helps in carbohydrate breakdown, trypsin and protein breakdown, and lipase for lipids breakdown. So these are the functions of liver, gallbladder and pancreas. So guys, I'm going to wrap up the class for now, and I'll continue the class for tomorrow, but I want you guys to do a small task for me. Please, on a plain white paper, can you draw a simple diagram, and can you do three things. One is tell me, name all the parts of the digestive system and name the associated glands, and also please tell me like where is carbohydrate, protein, fats digestion happening. So there are few questions I want you guys to answer me before I wrap up the class, as well as there are few questions that I want you guys to do in the next class. So the few questions that I want you guys to know from this class is whether you have understood the summary of the whole class, that is what is how the digestive system works. And the questions for you guys is, can you guys tell me why do you get hiccups? Okay, why do you get hiccups? I need an answer in the next class, and even I'll be telling, of course. And the second is, please name the parts of digestive system. Please name the parts of digestive system. Okay. And can you swallow your tongue? And you know an interesting fact, I actually thought of like asking you the question, but please tell me in the next class, what is the end product of plants, and also like at night time what does the plants release and what does the plants need. So thanks for watching.